My name is Ricky Bernstein, and I was given the opportunity to essentially take up this wall that's 10 feet by 20 feet. And I took the opportunity to make a new piece called Destined for the Stars. I live in Sheffield, Massachusetts, in an area called the Berkshires. It's a very bucolic area. My studio is just a short walk from my house, and I've always wanted to do that from my younger days. So I go to the studio every day and work generally from 8 in the morning until probably 5 or 6 in the evening, and often 7 days a week. And all of my pieces start with an idea. They start with a story, because the storyline and the narrative is really the most important part of my work. I think of myself as a visual storyteller. The kind of pieces I make are very much a celebration of the ordinary, is how I would describe them. I start with an idea, then I work up some thumbnail sketches, meaning small sketches that might be 12 inches by 18 inches, let's say. Then I work up from there. If I have several ideas and several sketches, I sometimes combine them, because a piece like the one you see behind me took about 6 months to actually construct from start to finish. So I start with a small drawing, and then I work that up into a large full-scale drawing. And in the case of Destined for the Stars and the character Lois in this piece, the drawing probably took maybe a month or so. And then the drawing sits in the studio, and every time I walk in, I make edits. The way that I do it is a sort of a paper doll fashion. So all of the sections you see behind me are cut out. And I can take a cup, or I can take a lamp, or I can take a dust mop or a dustpan and move it to another place. And in that way, kind of get the composition that I want. So the construction really is quite technical, and there's an aluminum armature behind all of the sections you see here. So although it's complicated technique, I really don't want the technique to speak louder than the narrative or the storyline. So a viewer could go to the side and then get a more clear picture that there is an armature, and that every single section, like every cup, every bowling ball, the head, arms, everything comes off as though it was a puzzle in a sense. So when we put this piece together, we put the purple background on the wall first, representing a wall, and then we put the legs, and then we put the body, and then you can probably tell from there that all of the different sections went out all the way to, say, putting the wire that is going to the lamp. That was maybe one of the last sections. So the pieces are made from different materials. I'm not really so hung up on the materials. My background is in glass. I first learned glass blowing in the mid-1970s, and so I have a lot of glass-making equipment, but I also use wood. The background in this piece is wood, and the legs are wood. There's an aluminum armature. Some of the sections are just aluminum. Some are plastic. A lot of what you see is painted. So the shirt in this piece, or the pajama tops, although it looks like wood, it's actually plate glass that's been gessoed or have a white surface, almost like it's primed, and then painted with acrylics and further embellished in design. So really it goes together piece by piece, and I decide on certain colors sometimes as I go along. I often have an idea of what I want to use in mind right from the beginning, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't work. So little by little the piece comes together, and then at a certain point it's time to have the show. And here we are now.